and welcome. So this video is going to be all about the Habsburg family and just how inbred they actually were. So there are two branches of the Habsburg family. There was the Austrian Habsburgs and the Spanish Habsburgs. So both of them were inbred, but the Spanish ones were more so than the Austrians. So we're going to be concentrating on the Spanish ones today. So the Spanish Habsburgs believed that their bloodline was superior to all the other royal dynasties. So to keep the bloodline pure, they married within their family. Now I know what you're going to say, the other royal families of Europe and that did inbreed a little bit, but they did not do it to the extent that the Spanish Habsburgs did. So normally there'll be a member of a royal family in one country and they will marry a royal in another country, and they might be second cousins sort of thing, but in the Habsburgs family it was literally within the family. So between 1500 and 1700 there was one marriage between first cousins once removed, 3 marriages between first cousins, 2 marriages between second cousins, and then 3 marriages between uncle and niece. So normally a family tree will come down and you have all the branches coming off and it all sort of spread out in a line. The Spanish Habsburgs family was basically like that, just concentrating on all this one little bit all together. So of course with all this inbreeding, the family did have some health issues. So one of the main features of their inbreeding was the Habsburg jaw, and this was a prominent jaw that most members of the families did actually have. So there was other issues in the family because of all this inbreeding, and the one person that had literally the most issues going was King Charles II of Spain. So he was born in 1661 and he was not in a good way. His genetics was a mess. His mother and father were uncle and niece. His grandmother on his mother's side was also his aunt on his dad's side. His great-grandfather on his mother's side was also the brother of his grandmother on his father's side. And as you went back, it just got even crazier. All of Charles's great-grandparents were descended from Philip and Joanna of Castile. So Charles II was the last of the Habsburgs monarchs, and this was due to, because of all the inbreeding, he was impotent. He didn't learn to speak until he was 4 years old, and he couldn't walk until he was 8 years old. He had learning difficulties, and sometimes he was not expected to be able to even clean himself. He was often uninterested in learning about the art of kingship, or he was unable to actually learn it. So Charles's tongue was so large he had trouble speaking, and because of his prominent jawline he found it difficult to eat food because he could not bring his teeth together properly. He may also have had a form of kidney failure that caused acid to build up in his body. So a team from the University of Santiago de Compostela have studied the genetics of inbreeding and have determined that Charles could have suffered from 2 different disorders. The first, combined pituitary hormone deficiency, which tends to weaken the muscles, which leads to a smaller stature. Now, people with this disorder are mostly uninterested in their surroundings, are impotent and have digestive issues. The second disorder is distal renal tubular acidosis, and this disorder causes kidney problems, weakened muscles, and can lead to an increased head size. So after Charles's death in 1700, a basic autopsy was performed on his body. It was recorded that his body did not contain a single drop of blood. His heart was the size of a peppercorn, his lungs corroded, his intestines rotten and gangrenous, and his head full of water. So whether that description of his body at his autopsy is really true or not, we don't know. I actually find it hard to believe that there was no brain there and it was just water. and also that his body did not have a single drop of blood in it. But it is true that Charles did suffer from all of these issues due to generations of inbreeding. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video all about the Spanish Habsburgs and the dangers of inbreeding. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.